Real Estate Investing Profits presents Profit Masters with your host, world-renowned real estate coach and investor, Corey Boatwright. Now, strap in and get ready to learn elite wealth-building investment strategies taught by 6- and 7-figure house flipping masters as they reveal their best real estate investing profit secrets to you right now.
Welcome back. This is Corey Boatwright, your host of Profit Masters podcast series and founder of Real Estate Investing Profits. How are you doing? I hope you're doing phenomenal. I want to remind you, if you haven't already downloaded your Quick Start Guide, to do that by right now texting the word profit, and that's 38470. That's 38470, the word profit. And you'll get immediately a download link where you can download your Quick Start Guide. We've been having a lot of people say positive things about it, so I hope you get it and use it. All right, so today I have another really good friend of mine. His name's Chris Richter, and he works at a company called Audantic. Now, what is that? So Audantic is really, I would say it is a data company, okay? What they do is they take tons of data, okay? He just lives in data, and he breaks it down to give you the very best results for what you're looking for. And in most of those cases for real estate investors, what is that going to be? Ding, ding, you got it. Highly motivated sellers. Chris is a father. He is a husband and an entrepreneur. And over a 10-year period from about 2005 to about 2015, he has operated now a full-time business. And one of the things that he focuses on is wholesaling in the greater Seattle metro. Now, over this period of time, he has actually managed 4 salespeople, and he's developed, again, a data mining business, which has statistical modeling in order to completely dominate the acquisition side of the kind of off-market space, right? So he is one of the guys that actually founded how to find motivated sellers, which is now one of the biggest systems right now that a friend of mine, Kent Clothier, also worked on in the wholesale business. And that company gained over 2,000 users in its first 12 months. That's really, really good. So again, you're going to dig this interview, and make sure that you write down good notes, because Chris actually says something at the very end that I think is one of the most powerful things. He talks about his why, and I think you're going to really be, just really enjoy what he has to say about that. So here you go, Mr. Chris Richter. Chris Richter, what's going on, man?
Hey, dude, how you doing?
I'm doing phenomenal, bro. Phenomenal. Doing, one thing that we talk about is your worst day is someone else's paradise, right?
Yep. Like I said, man, like that's in my phone. I look at it. I tell other people that, and I even give credit where it's due. I tell them you told me. But
well, it's true, because we have this, things going in our lives, and it seems so big, but oftentimes they're so small in the big comparison, the big picture, right? So it's just a great way to have a good perspective and keep things totally optimistic. Yeah.
Totally.
So, all right. You and I know each other from the Collective Genius and from other people that have been involved in the real estate investing space. Collective Genius being a great real estate mastermind. There are so many different ways to do real estate investing, and you're out there in Seattle, correct?
Yep. I'm just outside of Seattle, yeah.
Just outside of Seattle. And that's where Microsoft is, and Amazon. Actually, you're just telling me Amazon's in there too, right? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we're right by Amazon, Microsoft, and Boeing. A lot of tech. Zillow, Redfin.
That's cool, man. Well, I think people that are listening right now, they're going to be pretty surprised to hear what you do and how you kind of spin the whole real estate investing side of business on its ear, because you approach it with data and data mining and a data scientist. This is going to be, I think, really exciting for people to hear, because we don't really get a chance to hear this other tech side of it, where you love to live. I mean, really, you love to live in databases, right?
Yeah, no, I think in the next few years you will. I think it's the future, man. So we're just getting weird with it early if we can.
Getting weird with it early. I like that. Well,
Yeah.
okay. Tell people who you are, Chris, and what particular area in real estate is your expertise.
Sure. My name is Chris Richter. I'm co-founder of a company called Audantic, and we do statistics and analytics for real estate and for investors in particular. So
That's cool. Cool. And what made you want to get involved with real estate? Was there other things you were involved in before, like you got out of school, and what made you want to do this?
yeah, so I went to school for astrophysics and came out, and I was an engineer for almost 5 years. And we were working I worked ridiculous hours, slept at work, showered at work, like 80 plus hour weeks. We just lived there. We lived on grants, and it was cool. We worked a lot, and we were broke. Like we lived off grants, so I got to work on some really awesome stuff. I did some peripheral nerve cell regeneration stuff that's still. I watched a TED Talk on it today that was based on our research, and it was awesome. But I was totally broke, and had friends in real estate, and they seemed happier than me because they weren't broke.
So they're making some cash. You're like, I need to get involved with that deal.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, that's cute. You do that for a living. Here's a merit badge, man. I'm gonna go. I gotta go get my Mercedes." So.
I just noticed that my video was off completely, so everybody was just hearing a voice and no picture. So I think I just magically appeared on the screen.
It is magical, and it's so much nicer with the mic there. It's like feels so engaged.
Right. This part looks professional though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, okay. So sometimes there was a breaking point for people that, they wanted to do something different, right? They were working on a job that was not paying them what they feel like they're worth, and they had this breaking point. Did you have something like that, or was it just a natural progression for you to move it to the next thing?
I think that vice closed on my finger pretty slowly, so I felt it coming, and it wasn't something that really just I don't know. I was living in a house down just outside of Portland, and I was an engineer. We didn't make any money really, and I just had trouble paying my bills every month, dude. And I figured I didn't know how to do any kind of sales. I had no experience. We basically, to communicate inside of the lab, we would like grunt and throw chalk at each other. I had no sales skills or anything like that, so I figured I needed to learn some of that. So I actually took a job as a farmer rep for about a year and a half with the intent that, I would go out, I'd learn sales, and I would save up some money and get in real estate. And I did, just like everybody, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I was like, oh. And then I met some guys that were in real estate, and they were, dude, this is when I was still an engineer. I flew down to South Carolina and met some guys, and they were making a lot of money, and they weren't working very much. And I was working a whole lot, not making very much money, so I wanted that.
Yeah. Which one did you? Well, you actually alluded to something. Who was one of your biggest influences when you're getting started investing?
Well, that book, the Rich Dad Poor Dad, wasn't really too informative, but I went down and saw Patrick Riddle, if you know who that is.
Oh, wow.
I met him at a coffee shop. He was a friend of a friend that was there, both from Charleston. They went to school together.
Yeah. And, I know Pat. He's a great dude.
Yeah, I didn't know anybody that was actually doing it. You hear rumors, it's like, oh, you can flip houses, you can make all this money, and you're like, I was an engineer. I used to subscribe to the Skeptical Inquirer, so I'm like, yeah, right, that's not real.
Right.
And then I went down there and I was like, this guy seems pretty serious. He's actually doing this.
Yeah, so. He's like talking about I'm on the beach, and then he'd be like, put his glasses on, look all, smart, and then they take all his glasses off and go like, this is the lifestyle that everybody wants to live. But it almost seemed surreal, right? You're like, is that really true? But yeah, he actually built a great business.
Yeah, this was like 2003 or 4. This was before he had any of that stuff. Like, okay. I don't think anybody knew who he was.
Yeah,
he just went to college with my buddy. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, later on, he actually started to do some education courses.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, worked with Trevor and Trevor Mock from On Carrot and some other guys. Cool. So what was a big real estate mistake that you actually went through? Was like one of your worst deals, and how did you get through it?
Alphabetically, where do we start with that? Well, I think that I bought a whole bunch of property before the recession, so I lost a bunch of those. I think that one of my mistakes was believing that, I was smart and that I was not writing the economy, when in reality, I wasn't very smart and I was totally writing the economy, and I just didn't have enough experience to know that.
Right.
And so that was one thing. I think that at one point I thought that I was going to become a contractor as well, and so I started trying to do a lot of rehab. And at the end of the day, I think that a lot of people can do that, and I think that I probably could have done it too. And so the first mistake is that I went into it just thinking that I was going to do it, and I didn't build any systems, and I lost a lot of money. And the second is that I didn't stick to it. I didn't even try to build systems. I just, once I got hurt and I was like, I'm done with this. I'm just going to wholesale.
Wholesale. Do you remember like one specific deal that was like?
I do.
Yeah.
I had some guys that did one job for me, and they did a really good job. They did it really fast. They did it cheap, and they didn't pull permits. And I thought that was pretty slick. So I hired them to do another job, and
I saved money there, but let's go do another one.
Yeah. Let's lose it all. So I stuck them on another project, and my materials didn't show up. I fronted them a bunch of money. My materials never showed.
Wow.
And eventually, like they had somebody on site that I go see, and he didn't know where the stuff was. So finally, I went down and saw this guy's partner, and his partner had gone off and taken off to Mexico. Apparently, he had a drug habit and a gambling habit. And he took all my money and his partner's truck and headed off.
He took your partner's truck too?
He took not my partner's truck, his partner's truck.
His partner's truck. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I was talking to his partner, and I was like, Jose, dude, where's my money, man? Like, you got to fix this. And because his partner was really cool, and he's like, what do you want me to do, man? You want me to drive there in my truck? He took it. And I was like, I don't know. You got to fix this, though. This is wrong. And he did, actually. In all fairness to him, he came out and finished another project, and he made it right. But it was still like I learned that I wasn't managing that I was kind of like just
taking somebody's word for it. You're the expert. You handle it, kind of thing.
Yeah. What do they call it in the E-Myth? They have a name for it, where you just like say, you want to believe. You're like, oh, you take care of it, and I'm going to go over here, and
Right.
That's kind of what I was doing, and I learned that doesn't work. So.
Yeah, it's easy to do that. And a lot of it's just trusting, right? Just relying. But then there's trust and verify, right? And if you're doing any kind of rehab projects, I was horrible, by the way, at rehab projects. I couldn't find a GC that wouldn't get drunk on Sundays, or even actually Saturdays and Sundays to work on the weekends, even many times during the weekdays. I mean, I was horrible at it. But I know several investors that get really, really good at it. So I think it just takes a talent to build that rehab team up.
Yeah, it was in CG that I noticed that I was like, oh, the problem is me. Like, and it just brought that into light. I was like, this is not a problem with this industry. It's a problem with me being mismanaged. So. Right.
Yeah. It's easy to think about the market being the challenge, when in fact a lot of times it's the way we respond to the market.
Yeah.
What is one of your profit master investing strategies? That's the big part of our podcast. We want to talk about something that's working well for you right now, and how are you using it to make a ton of profit for you in Washington?
Yeah. Well, I don't do. I mean, I'll invest for myself and to hold, but I don't do any kind of wholesaler flipping anymore. 100% of my time is spent running the analytics company and building that. But what we do is, for you and a whole bunch of people, we do the statistics and the analytics to try and improve their return on investment as they scale their marketing up. So we send well over 1 million mailers a month, or we direct that many. And at the end of the day, it's about making sure that people are getting the best return.
It's incredible. It's a lot of direct mail. And just to kind of break it into terms that might be a little bit more understandable is, let's say that you're marketing right now and you're spending $5,000 a month doing your mailers or some type of marketing for direct mail. And that's been working okay for you. But what's happening is, let's say that you're mailing out, I don't know, maybe 1,000 pieces a week or so, right? Compared to what could happen with you is you could come in and say, let me look at what you're doing right now. Let me see if I can dice it up to kind of divide up what's the very, very best motivated seller avatar that we could come up with in your market. And then once I've got that person that has all these data points, which you have like 400 plus data points, right? And then you take that person and you say, of all these things, let me look at the list that you're mailing out to, and let me see if I can
look at their list, man. We just take whatever you got on your whiteboard and wipe it off and say we're doing it this way.
Right, start over again. Right?
There are people out there that have opinions. They're like, no, we're doing this, and you're gonna like me in 60 days. Don't worry.
Right, and I mean, and here's the bottom line, right? Is once you have a very targeted seller motivated avatar, then I mean, you can really, you can actually send out more mailers and actually get better results, right? Yeah. Because you're not just, you're cutting out all the fat of these people that you're mailing to. Can you explain just a little bit more? I mean,
you had mentioned that you're going to, if somebody's sending out 5,000 mailers, if most people that are sending out 5,000 mailers, they're wasting 4,000 of those, and they just don't know it because they don't have enough information to decipher which 4,000 are going where.
Right.
And so they just kind of blindly send them in the mail, and then it's like, well, I'm doing deals, and it's like, well, terrific. You're sending out 5,000 mailers. How much more would you be making if that was actually directed at the right people? And without having the information, you just don't know that. And so at the end of the day, it's kind of like I always joke that doing a lot of mailing without, marketing without analytics is like going golfing without knowing where the hole is. Sure, you can tee off in every single direction, just spin in the circle and tee off everywhere.
Right.
But it's a lot easier if you just have a map. It's a lot easier if somebody just points to where the pin is and you try and shoot that direction,
Right.
So
I liken it to a similar story where if someone told you there was treasure and you knew it was treasure in this area, but you had no idea where to dig, right? It was like an island, let's just say. You had no idea where to dig, right? How often would you spend time digging? You know it's there, so you'd spend some time digging, right? But how much more excited would you be if you just knew exactly where to start digging, right? And then find the hidden treasure, and that's what you do. You really find the hidden treasure of the best motivated sellers in your area, in your marketplace.
Yeah, I think it's, there's always somebody wrote the other day, and I try not to make really wild claims, but somebody wrote and said, hey, can you get me a better list than I can get at the courthouse with my probates and my vacants and my divorce or whatever? And I said, no, can't. That's a great list. Congrats, But at the end of the day, can you scale that? And the answer to that is no, you can't. And so we help people scale responsibly so that they can scale their volume. As you scale, your return on investment is always going to go down because you're scaling. And so the return will go down. But it's a question of, what is your gross and what is the return? And how can you continue to put, a budget onto the streets and get it back in a safe way? And that's what we help people do.
Yeah, and it does come down to the bottom line, right? Whatever you're spending, how much you're making, work with you, spend maybe a little bit more, but make a considerable amount more money.
Yeah. I'll take half of 100 over, 100% of 10 every day of the week.
Yeah, every day, 100%. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. Most people don't delve into the analytics like that and really, live there, hike in that area, and you do, and it's been incredible, man, to be able to. That's a skill, it's a talent, it's a skill that many investors just have no clue about, and how powerful it is once they do use that in their real estate investing business. Plus, you're proprietary for the way you're doing it, and then you're also exclusive per territory, correct?
Yeah, we are. We only work with one person in each region, and that's because like when you really look at it, it doesn't make sense to have a whole bunch of people doing it. I mean, it would make sense over, if we're going to do some blowout launch, it would make sense.
Right.
But, we're interested in having like long-term relationships. And so it makes way more sense for us to help somebody establish market dominance and then just stay with them. Quite frankly, it's easier.
You showed me a little text before you got on here. Can you show that? Or do you have permission to show that or not? I just want people to see.
I don't have permission, but I'm sure
now the people that are listening right now, they're like, "Crap! I want to see what this text says." But I'll read it out for you because it's pretty powerful. All right, you put it up there so it'll start to focus. It says, "Right now, I have 6 properties under contract that should close in this month. That should be bringing in well over $40,000. That will be my best month by far. Thank you so much for your list. Oh, and that was all from my first mailer." That says it all right there, man. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Does that make you feel pretty good when someone texts you like that?
I save all those, and like anytime I'm having a hard day, like sometimes like you were saying, like it's just easy to forget,
right?
That I was born in the USA, like that's right. Like totally forgot that if I run out of food, I walk into some place and somebody hands me a bowl and a blanket, like totally forgot. Like other places in the world, unless you die, But like we live in such a great place, and but yeah, like when I'm having a hard day, like sometimes I'll look at the stuff that people send, and people do send stuff a lot, and it brings me back to life. I'm like, oh yeah, gosh, I am helping people. Like people are happy about this, and so it makes me feel really good.
That's great, man. Well, what's one piece of advice that you'd share about running a successful real estate business?
I'd say focus, which I'm just going to steal immediately from Jason and you. Like pretty much everybody's like focus, because like it's like you were saying, not a lot of people do this, but the reason that we're good at what we do is because it's all that we do. We only do this one thing. And I was joking to Franklin this morning, because you can have all the information, but it's totally different to have all the data than actually understand things. And so it'd be like if somebody gave you a book on judo and said, "Here's a book on judo," and you read the whole thing, you're not going to go fight Martin. You have to do it for you go do it for 10 years.
It takes a while, right?
I get it, like,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that through focusing, we're able to go deeper and deeper and have a more thorough understanding of some of the things that are basic but go really deep. So
it's interesting you talk about going deep compared to kind of going wide, and I agree, man. And it's not easy. That's so much easier said than done, because if you're a curious person and you don't even like the word no, a lot of us don't. Entrepreneurs, we couldn't stand that word no. When someone said no, we would do the exact opposite. Like, I'll show you what I can do if you tell me no, right? And so when people ask us to do something, we don't want to tell them no, because in a weird way, we are that other person asking. Yeah, right. Totally. And that's what I think sometimes is missed with the whole focus thing, is that it isn't because we cannot focus. It's because oftentimes we don't want to turn down opportunities. But the interesting thing about the word focus, I think John Maxwell said this. It stands for follow one course until successful. Follow one course until successful.
I had never heard that.
It's very interesting, because look at your business, Chris. I mean, you've become the most successful, dare I say, from how long I've known you, by doing that, by really focusing and going deeper instead of wider in a particular area.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like doing this, I've been able to produce the best work in my career. I've been able to do the best work, and I also feel the happiest.
That's great.
Because I know what my job is.
Right.
And I'm not confused about it. I don't have anxiety about it. I know what my job is every day, and that is allows me to have a boring life and an exciting job. That's what somebody said. So.
Well, focus sometimes isn't very sexy. It's boring sometimes, but it can make you wealthy. Yeah. And it'll set you free as well. Being not focused and all over the place, that is the quickest way to stress yourself out.
Oh yeah, and I've had to battle with that too. I mean, I'm crippled by my own curiosity. I used to always joke, I was like, do my side projects have side projects? And I've had to like cut all of that out and and it's been very liberating. So.
It's liberating, right? If you had to start all over again, how would you change, or what is like some advice you would give for someone starting out?
I'd probably be more conservative. I'd probably look at things, when I started out, I was, just ramped up and full of fire and ready to go do everything and blow it out. And that had a huge benefit. I mean, because those people are the ones that make it, right? You see squirrels running across the road. The ones that get hit by cars are the ones that stop and stare at it, If you want to make it across the road, dude, go for broke. And we did that. And so I wouldn't take that back. But I think that, I was looking at it at my time frame and saying, I don't want to build a business. I want to get rich, in the next 2 years. And I think that if I could look back, I'd just say, no, why don't we just do everything that we can, still go for broke, but not look at it on such a short time frame, but look at it as something that I want to do with my life and build it.
It's funny because can you imagine building a house in a day? Like a whole house from scratch?
I can't imagine building a house at all.
At all, right? But can you imagine, just like a great visual, building it in a day? Okay, well, that sounds crazy. What about in a week?
Yeah.
Well, that's nuts. What about in a month? Well, even that is pushing it, right? What about in 3 months? Well, even that, like just the fact that you can do more by having a team around you, right? Then, and I think that's powerful. You're talking about being conservative. Oftentimes when we're just being like the squirrels, it's we're all out for ourselves. It's like we just got to do all these different things and just go. Yeah. And then at some point, maybe in your 30s or something, all of a sudden you start asking yourself, like, what am I doing? Right? like that road looks really familiar, right?
Dude, I have a video of myself like on a Friday night in my office in front of a whiteboard talking to myself. And it was like a half an hour long, basically saying, what are you doing right now?
What are you doing right now?
It's like 7:00 at night on a Friday. You're at work. Like, what are you doing right now?
This is a great epiphany moment, believe it or not. This could be the most simplest thing, but if you're listening, ask yourself, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? A lot of times we just get in a car and we just go. How crazy would it be if we just got in the car and just start going somewhere? Where are you going? Right. I don't know. That's the car's moving. Right? So sometimes it's good, man, to go, stop. Where are you going? What are you doing right now? So yeah. What about a favorite? What's that?
It's a question of what do you want? And do you want Mike?
Yeah. What's a favorite motivational or business quote?
Quote? I think my grandpa used to tell me, because I saw that in the question. And it's like, there's so many, but the first thing that actually popped in mind, which is what I'll go with, is that my grandpa told me God helps those that help themselves. And I think it's a Benjamin Franklin quote that he had taken up. But I used to hear that all the time. It's like, work. You want something, go get it.
The world doesn't owe you anything, right?
Yeah, the world doesn't owe you anything, man. Like you got an opportunity, but an opportunity is an opportunity. You have to choose whether you want to run or not.
Right.
And, who knows what that looks like, but just if you want something, go get it.
Right. That's so true. You're the wise guy for saying that to you. What books do you recommend, or maybe has one really changed your life? You said Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Some other ones that are really good?
What did I read recently that I really liked? Brendan Burchard wrote a book called The Motivation Manifesto.
Yeah, it's a great book.
And I felt like it was incredibly genuine. I read a bunch of that kind of stuff, but I read it and I was like, man, this guy has really, really nailed it. He's incredibly genuine. This is accurate. I like that. And then Gary Keller wrote a book called The One Thing.
Yeah, that's a fantastic book.
Oh, man, yeah. I'll pull that out and put it on my desk, and then I'll just look at the little dot. It's like, focus, bro. Focus.
Focus, right? Right. Yeah, that's an amazing book. What's a mobile app that you use in your business every day?
I use Slack a lot.
Slack's a great app.
Yeah, Slack. I use Slack pretty much all day, every day.
Can you explain Slack and how you use it?
Yeah, it's just an instant messenger. It's something that I can communicate with my team. it's just like the instant messenger in Google or something, but you can upload docs. It keeps all the history, which is really nice. You can scroll through, you can search history, you can have different conversations with different parts of your team. It's pretty rad.
I love it. I love Slack too. It's Slack, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. Great app. What's a morning routine? Do you have one that you stick with?
I definitely have my morning routine. I come in, I plug in my scents, which I have around here somewhere. In the morning, I'll use like a peppermint. So I have a little peppermint thing that plugs into the wall with peppermint oil, or eucalyptus. So my office smells great. And then I typically meditate for 10 or 15 minutes.
About what time is this usually? You get up?
I get up about 6:30.
6:30.
Yeah, I try to get out of the house before the kids, want to start doing all kinds of stuff. So, but I get here. I usually get here about 8-ish, and then I do that, and I'll meditate for a bit. I make a gratitude list every day. I've done that for years.
Yeah. How many? What's on your gratitude list? Is there certain questions you ask every single time?
No, it's pretty open flow. It's just I have a little yellow pad in my phone. That's just a little note function thing. And I just I date it, and then then I can always look back, like November 4th, 15. I can see what I was grateful for.
Wow.
And I can go through and look at all the stuff that I was grateful for, and anytime that it's just easy to forget. So I look at that, and then once I've done that, I kind of look at my my goals and kind of plan out my day, and then go.
Gotcha. So it's got some structure to it, but it's not so rigid that it doesn't sound like you're like at 5:15 or at 5:45 or at 6:20 or whatever. Yeah.
Around here, what's the saying? Like trees that are just stuff that's too rigid gets broke.
Stuff is too rigid gets broke.
So.
Well, there's a great app, by the way, called Gratitude that it's by Tapper that you should check out too. It's really good. It kind of already has the questions kind of laid out and it has a little calendar and stuff on it. But I'll send you the link. Actually, I'll put it here in the show notes so you get to check that out too. Because if you just write it down on a notepad, that's cool and everything. But this little app that's called Gratitude, at 12 o'clock, it pops on. It says, "What are you grateful for today?" So a lot of times, just the response to that makes you want to be, I need to write this in, right? Because a lot of times we just forget, but you do it in the morning, so you could put that little timer to pop on there and say, "What are you grateful for today?" Anyway, it's a good app. I use it.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll definitely use it.
Yeah. So what's the single greatest lesson that you've learned that's helped you get to where you are today, Chris?
I don't know, man. Just keep going. Same thing, like if you want something, go get it. Like I kind of just believe that. It's, I am a fairly practical person. It's like, if you want to go get it, don't stop till you get it. It'll be hard. Don't complain about it. Just go. Just go.
What are you most grateful for?
Probably my family, man. Like, the fact that I was, that's hard. I mean, there's so many things.
Right. It's hard to sum it down.
Like my existence, the fact that I'm conscious and aware of my own existence, and, I can breathe in air. Like I woke up today with all my senses. I can walk to the bathroom in the morning and go to the bathroom without having any troubles most days.
Sometimes you do things for you, and that's the intent. But sometimes you realize from a self-awareness that even though you did it for yourself, that something even greater happened from it.
Yeah.
So in the morning, I grab my pillow and I hug it and I say, "I love you." All right, I love you. And it's kind of a way to just be like, you love yourself, right?
Yeah.
The weird thing is that from that experience, I actually feel like God's actually telling me I love you. Yeah. So it's kind of strange, But the grateful part of that is just incredible to start a day where you're just grateful for really anything. A lot of times, sometimes just being grateful for anything doesn't have to be so profound, but just not starting your day in a negative state and in a victim state and, pessimistic. I mean, just breaking that by itself can be a big aha for someone.
Yeah. Victims don't get better, man.
They don't get better, do they? Yeah. State of mind. That's good, man. What point would you recommend hiring a coach or a mentor, and how important has that been in your own success?
Well, I probably want to do that immediately. Like, in one form or another, like it's pretty much, I got started in real estate because I went to a seminar, and this guy was up there selling a really high ticket item. He had a lot of experience, and he wanted to take all weekend to sell me, but like I'm an impatient dude, so I just walked to the back of the room, say, "Give me all your stuff."
It's like, here's my credit card.
I gotta get working, man. I don't have time to talk about this.
Wow.
I want to hear your story. And
wow.
His wife was like, "No, this is a thing." I was like, "Look, I'm gonna write you a check right now, or I'm gonna leave, and I want to write you a check, so please just hand me the materials." And she did. So I'm
take my money, please.
Yeah, I've always been willing to pay for it because it's funny, like when people are like, "Wow," you hear people like, especially in the real estate world, that complain about spending this amount of money or this or whatever. You're like, dude, and then they expect to spend nothing and then get like a Maserati and get rich, and you're like, dude,
right?
Go find yourself a leprechaun. That's not real. If you spend the money and you spend the time and you completely dedicate yourself to it, you're virtually guaranteed success.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do any of that stuff, like, it's not going to work.
Right. It's true. It's true. It's oftentimes we just hope we're going to get something for doing nothing. And that's obviously not a way to look at life. You're not going to get much from it. If you had to kind of summarize it, why do you do what you do? What's the why behind Chris? Why do you do this business? Why do you do data? Why do you do real estate? Why do you do what you do?
Yeah, that's like pretty profound question, and it's been asked a lot. I mean, between everybody, and it's I think about it, and I don't have any answer other than I'm going to be dead someday, and I don't want to be on my deathbed and say, I played it safe. I don't want to be on there on my deathbed like, oh, really played that one safe.
You just said it. You don't realize you just said it. You said it in a verbose, but you do what you do. What I heard you say without saying it is because you don't want to live with regrets.
Totally. Exactly. I don't want to die with regrets, bro.
You don't want to die. Yeah. You don't want to live with regrets.
I don't want to live with them either, but like, I don't want
to. You don't want to die with regrets. Right.
Go for it. Run across the street.
You don't want to die with regrets. That's it, man. That's good. That's good. No, I don't think anybody wants to die with regrets, but I think oftentimes our self-awareness doesn't allow us to even have the conversation.
Yeah.
Because we become these zombies.
Zombie land.
How can we help you? What can we do to serve you? What's the best way to contact you too? We'll put this in the show notes here, but what can we do to help you, Chris? What are you looking for right now?
I'm not really looking for a whole lot. I think that we're trying to provide stuff for other people so that we can continue to do what we love, which is data. We're put up a site that should be live in the next week or so, probably by the time this goes up, called Learn About Data. And it's just a place where you can go and learn about data and how it applies to real estate. And in my opinion, predict what the future is going to hold. I think the industry is changing. The market will always change, but I think the industry is changing, like every other industry, and leading more into data and modeling. And it's not going to go backwards. So we're putting some stuff up to help educate people, and and then we'll see what comes.
That'd be cool to have like predictability calculators per like market. That'd be cool.
Yeah, well, we kind of do. We just don't share them. We share them with you, but like not. We share them with our clients, but we don't share them with everybody.
Yeah, that's cool. That's pretty cool, man. Well, hey, thanks for taking the time to be on here. I really appreciate you. I'm excited about what's going on here in OKC and using their data scientist, and how much work that you put into that. So we're excited about that. And I'll put everything here in the show notes for people that can contact you if maybe there's a lot of states out there, obviously. So would they just they email you and just kind of ask about if their area is already taken or something like that?
Yeah. They can just send an email to info@audantic.com.
Okay.
And just if they have any kind of queries that they have, if their regions are open. We're not we don't have a place anybody can go sign up right now. It's just been through people that we know. We kind of work on a we'll find you basis, but it's not. I mean, we're happy to talk to anybody.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Well, cool. All right, man. Well, thanks for taking the time. I have to get out there. I want to go out there, hang out with you. We talk about it a lot. We talk about it a lot. I'd like to do a trip where it'd be like San Diego and then you, and then we could go to Hawaii. That would be cool.
Do you ski? Snowboard?
I have actually skied a couple of times, snowboard a couple of times. I went down blues. I went down one black in my life, but I have not put the time in to become that great to go down blacks all the time. But I did go. I'm trying to think of the place we went that was by California and snowboard. It was. I'll think of it after a while. But yeah, I went and snowboarded a couple of times.
We'll be in Colorado all of February. We're working from Colorado. We're setting up shop up at Breckenridge, and we're working from there that whole month. And Jake will be there, and Bern, and I think Kava's coming out. We're gonna have like function.
I will be there then.
It's not that far, man.
I will be there. No, that's awesome. That's great. So we'll talk about that too. All right, cool. Well, thanks again. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
All right. As always, remember, be a servant, and make sure you listen to the next Real Estate Investing Profit Master podcast. Talk to you later. Bye now.
You've been listening to another Real Estate Investing Profits Master podcast series. To receive your free real estate book, Down and Dirty, Ultimate Real Estate Investing Quick Start Guide, how to quit your job to start flipping houses in 90 days or less, head online and go to realestateinvestingprofits.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Real Estate Investing Profits. Thanks again for listening, and stay tuned for our next episode.